A lot like Ropemas. New York City is illegally housing pedophiles a block from an elementary school playground. This is by Cassandra Fairbanks. If you're not on Parler and you don't know of this particular individual, get on Parler. She updates articles regularly, and we're going to go over one of them. What I like about Gateway Pundit is they pull no punches. If you have any questions and you're reading the article, everything you want to know is going to be in here. So, here we go. New York City is illegally housing pedophiles at a luxury hotel a block from an elementary school playground. One of the offenders, who is still on parole, raped a 4-year-old girl. At least 6 homeless pedophiles are being housed by the city at the Belclaire Hotel at Broadway and West 77th Street as of Friday night, according to a report from the New York Post. The hotel is just under 1,000 feet from the playground of PS 87, and the New York state law bars such high-risk sex offenders on probation or parole from, quote, knowingly entering into or upon schools or other facilities primarily used by children if a minor is present. Courts have interpreted that to mean they must keep 1,000 feet away, the Post reports. The city has been housing the homeless at hotels amid the coronavirus pandemic out of fear that they can't adequately social distance in shelters. Now, this is interesting because if you aren't aware, the YouTuber named Vosh critiqued a PragerU video that was 4 minutes long in a 34-minute long video because this particular video had the audacity to claim that when you do early release for prisoners, you release the most dangerous into society and they will repeat again. And Vosh was deeply offended by this notion, and this was his area of expertise. And of course, all of that is bullshit. All these innocent drug-related offenses that had no connection to actual quote-unquote harmful activity. Well, not a week goes by, and sure enough, because of COVID, the Orange County of California had released, without needing to, by the way, like they were nowhere near capacity. They already had COVID-19 precautions taken in the jails and prisons in Orange County. But because of an order from a judge, they released at least 7 high-risk pedophiles into the populace, and it was so egregious that the attorney general of that area, the district attorney, sent out a statement saying, by the way, from a court order from a judge, this is what's happening and here's who's being released. We have a similar situation now in New York. And the names and faces of the pedophiles are as follows. Devron Vernal, 26, was convicted in 2015 of physically overpowering and having sex with a 4-year-old girl. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison and remains on parole until 2028. I'm losing faith in humanity, guys. He only got sentenced for 4 years. Jonathan Evans, 29, a sexually violent offender convicted in 2010 for using threats to force intercourse on a 6-year-old boy. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison and is not off of parole until 2025. Anderson Stuckey, 51, is a sexually violent offender convicted in 2005 for using threats to rape a 10-year-old girl. There's his lovely mug. Orlando Velasco, 35, a sexually violent offender convicted in 2011 of repeatedly sexually molesting a child who was under the age of 11. He was sentenced to 42 months of prison and is not off parole until 2022. Ronald Butler, a predicate sex offender who was convicted in 2013 of rape in the third degree by repeatedly using physical force to overpower and have intercourse with a 16-year-old girl. There he is. Wonderful gentleman, I'm sure. Rafael Medina, 37, convicted in 2015 of forcibly sexually assaulting a 15-year-old girl in Fort Plain Village in Montgomery County, New York. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison and is on parole until 2023. These men found themselves homeless after being let loose on parole, and now they're being housed near a place where they can easily repeat again. Now, for those of you who don't know, the examples that I used in Orange County, not only were those violent offenders also of the same ilk, but they were also repeatedly known for having been on parole before and tinkering with things like their monitoring bracelets and removing them and walking free with those monitoring devices off. The city would not confirm to the Post if they are still at the hotel or not. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be very honest. These men don't deserve to be walking free. Sexual predators of this nature don't deserve to live in a civilized society. Not sorry.